Okay, this is a critique somewhat on the article that has come out from the Smithsonian, but before we do it, this is just the opening photograph here, and I have to stop and admire some of the incredible architecture modern Caucasians have put out. You know, I talk about it sometimes in my videos that when I was a kid, I thought we'd be the Jetsons and all this crap, and while there aren't like big flying saucer looking things stuck up on tripods everywhere in space, these space rockets, this is probably as close as we'll get to it. I drew some things that looked kind of like this whenever I was a kid, and me and my brother would draw things in moon bases and all kinds of stuff. We grew up with the Apollo program. It was an incredible time for America. Some way for us to show our superiority as a people on this planet. Back then, I guess that was acceptable as hell to do in a sense of pride, but nowadays, wow, you'd think that they would probably try to shut it down and say that it was racist to try to go to the moon. The only thing that would have been missing from my old pictures was these posts that are out here in front of it at the bottom. For that's a more modern thing that's put on, for the world changed a little bit at 9/11, and then we realized that a lot of people kind of hate us. We realize it's an envy situation, and that's kind of sad, but we've got to power through that. For these Caucasians we're talking about have been persecuted in all kinds of ways for heralding civilization just about everywhere and through time, and the Bible tells you about it. But nowadays we try to pinpoint one people or something like it's about that, and people don't even remember the tribes situation that went on, that they're just one of. That's not what this video is about in any way. It's more about what they're calling racism, and what's funny is black people are calling it racist and white people are calling it racist, and a lot of people are, and some people are just saying that it's reality, and that reality is no longer going to be referred to as racist and everyone needs to shut up. And other people say the exact same thing, but that we need to talk about this because it's the problem. So let's get into this here. But I remember buildings back in RoboCop and stuff. It was some of the Dallas buildings and stuff that are done like Las Colinas and things, and it had this look to it too. Pretty incredible. A little bit of a waste of space, one would say, but then others would say no, it's a utilization, art, a building, all of it encompassing. Let's continue. The Smithsonian pushes racist material, claiming white culture is nuclear family, self-reliance, and being polite. Oh, I have to agree with that 100%, that white culture is the nuclear family. They're self-reliant, and they're a polite people. They've shared all kinds of things with people. I mean, they talk about racism and all this stuff. You didn't have to share any of this electrical equipment or any of this type stuff with anybody. The world could be a very different place. And in fact, these heralds of civilization seem to be the least racist people in the world. Or they sure are helping the hell out of a lot of people. But let's look into this. This is out July 15th. The National Museum of African American History and Culture is promoting material about whiteness. That's weird. It sounds like you said that a museum that's part of the Smithsonian, that's separated just for black history, seems to be talking about whiteness too. Why would such a thing go on? Well, let's reveal it. So it's promoting material about whiteness and white culture on its website, an effort to discuss race, equity, and inclusion. Wow, see, sometimes words, just little words like discuss race, is an extremely difficult thing nowadays. You can't have an open conversation about it, especially not with a black person. They've geared it up to where they have to talk back over you and never listen to a point, and it's all about them. They can't have the conversation, and they don't want to have the real conversation. Their only conversation is white man bad, give me money or something. But then you talk about equity, and whites have given the opportunity for equity. You would try to say different, and they go, well, we just had a black president. Oh, you did that just so you could say that? No. We just did that, period. The rest of that is just, again, part of the problem. Issues of race are sometimes blatant. Inclusion. Sorry, I left that out. And must be included. Must be included. But then they want to make things where Caucasians aren't included. That's kind of an odd problem, too. Issues of race, sometimes blatant and obvious, sometimes subtle and nuanced, and often difficult to confront. However, with commitment and caring, we can all play an important role in dismantling racism to create a more inclusive, just, and safe society. By committing to understanding and talking about race, all of our lives will be better. Well, so that's what they wrote, and that sounds like a great thing on its face, really, but it also sounds like I need to do some white-splaining a little bit. Using various graphics, videos, and quotes from so-called race experts, such as Toni Morrison, Robert DiAngelo, Bell Hooks, Michael Welp, and others, I don't know any of those people, the website lays out and how white people should address their own race. I thought this was in an African-American culture exhibit. What's going on here? Couldn't keep from it? Since white people in America hold most of the political, institutional, and economic power, they receive advantages that non-white groups do not, it reads. Well, some people think that's odd. Some people think that America was supposed to be made to be some kind of 50-50 thing, perhaps with Mexicans or black people or some other thing, or now it's going to be 30, but then what about Asians and all? Hold on, Asia has Asia, blacks have Africa, Mexicans have Mexico. It's a Caucasian thing. Now, we got this cute little thing when I was a kid talking about a melting pot, but what we were supposed to do is enhance them in culture and see what we had going on, and perhaps they would go back and fix their own country. But we don't have that problem. They actually want to come here, and then they apparently, not all, let me say not all, but they apparently want to talk crap about us. And that's really gotten out of hand here lately. Let's go on. The page, which is labeled Talking About Race, outlines its definitions for white privilege, white racial identity, white supremacy, and white nationalism, while promoting a variety of resources on how to address white fragility. Can you imagine if in an exhibit that's just not about the black people over here in the corner thing, but in a regular exhibit there was to be this one about white people and show a bunch of jealous black people and stuff, but then show you blacks back in Africa and still the ones that haven't been westernized and so on, and show you all these things? Would that be okay or acceptable in any way? I mean, because it's kind of the flip-flop of that, but it's odd nowadays. This is totally acceptable, right? It gets much worse. Can you imagine saying such things and just replacing the word white with a black, such as privilege, and explaining that with affirmative action and all these things, which, if you look at it, is discrediting those Caucasians and trying to give you even more than equity said to. Let's continue. Racial identity, white supremacy, white nationalism. Well, it's our nation and everything else. And oh, people want, let's ruin. Oh, that's disgusting. It's the only reason we're here now and the world's at its level, but that's bad, but I want it. Knock, knock. Whiteness and white racialized identity refer to the way that white people, their customs, culture, and beliefs operate as the standard by which all groups are compared. Well, in America, I mean, it would be. If you went to, someplace in Africa, it would probably be a different thing. If you were to plop yourself in China, it would be a little different. If you were to blink and be with some Inuits, it would be a little bit different, right? So, you know, dance with the one that brung you here. Hey. So it's a standard, they say. Well, I'm sorry that we've set the standard for civilization. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I was confused for a second. Whiteness is also the core of understanding race in America. Whiteness and the normalization of white racial identity throughout America's history have created a culture where non-white persons are seen as inferior or abnormal, they say. And so, never gonna forget it. Here it is, where blacks are even trying to go, well, let me go see some of my culture. Oh, whited. Well, what's this? Oh, it's going to talk crap about whites and try to make it seem a problem. Well, what's sad is if you read through the thing, and we'll do it here in a minute, it actually is racial the other way too. So it's just all of that, and you get a bag of chips too, right? But seen as inferior, well, that's an inferiority complex. There were one people that are spacemen nowadays, and then there's another people that were recent primitives, and so it's hard to put those together. If you were to take and put them against a third world country, that would be a whole lot more than trying to put them against the standard that they even say themselves. So is that the problem, and do we need to have that discussion? And by the way, I'm quite firm in my ideal that the discussion doesn't go, well, now dumb yourself down and da-da-da and quit that nuclear family thing. And no, 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 no. You don't try to ruin a people. No, no, it doesn't work that way. It's not gonna. In fact, if it's believed that the conversation should go that way, there is a problem. So, whiteness and its accepted normality is also exist every day. Microaggression towards people of color, microaggressions to Caucasians. Oh, there's lots of it, but we're not going to talk. Oh, hold on. Acts of microaggressions include verbal, nonverbal, and environmental slights, snubs, or insults towards non-whites. And by the way, that goes exactly reverse. And many people say, with the amount of population that they are, it's way in their favor. Just like that crime thing and other things, which should all be addressed. But they don't want to have that discussion. They want to have this, well, see this how your spacemen thing? That kind of pisses people off. And it's like, well, we're not going to have this conversation without having fixed the other one first, are we? It's not left up to Superman to fix it. We all do this together, but it starts at reality. There's no, we was the Egyptians, or we were the biblical people. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Going to start at reality. And they don't want to start there. And they sure don't want to even have that part of the conversation. So it's going to be a difficult thing, and it's going to keep going on and on until, well, I guess that eventually does happen. Right? So, The page also adds that the resource also frequently refers to a document from 1990 that lists aspects and assumptions of white culture in the United States. Well, what's that? It's like the way that it does. If you study social structures, yeah, that's different people have different cultures. So it's real hard for some people that have a totally different primitive culture within a few generations of making it. Is that any bit of the problem here at all? I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but no one wants to even try to attempt to touch upon that. Sorted into categories that contain common characteristics of most U.S. white people most of the time. So it's not saying all the time or everyone, but this is the way it is in a large proportion. That makes sense. Some of these common characteristics include master and control nature. Boy, that took a left field right off the bat. Aggressiveness and extroversion. We go farther in left field, up into the cheap seats, and not even playing the game anymore. Let's continue. Heavy value on ownership, goods, space, and property. Oh, we come back to reality. Yes, home base on that one, but chunk out that other bullshit. Steak and potatoes. Bland is best. Anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign. Well, it was all set up by Christians, and so you would think we would have the ability to say, and anybody but a Christian can't come here, but we are the most diverse and accepting, but that also bites us in the ass because some of these other people, it's almost like their edict to hate us. People don't realize that, and they have this compassion, and they're like, "Aw," and they don't realize the problem that extends from that. And they want to yell about it, like Ilhan Omar, and it's like, you're a senator trying to say you're getting oppressed. Shut up. So, Christian, Judeo-Christian, that would be the white God, Caucasian God, the only people that are in the Bible. It doesn't mention Eskimos. It doesn't mention Amerindians. It was just about people held Noah lands in the Caucasus. All of the Hamites, Shemites, Japheths, yes, Egypt, Caucasians. Look up blue-eyed Egyptians. You'll see the earliest dynasties. This is nothing we're going to go playing games at anymore and causing our own racism by our own hands. But they go on and say that there is no tolerance for deviation from a single God concept. Well, if you watch a bunch of my other videos, I talk about this and the pagan religions of everybody around and who the 12 tribes were and how it all fits together. But in that process, I've been attacked. And blacks keep jumping in and tell me, you don't know, it's actually all about black people. Yeah, we were the Romans and Greeks. You wouldn't believe what they've said, but that's not for this video. Just look at those. Oh, I'm so bad for pointing it out. Really? Thought we had free speech and thought we were needing to have a conversation. Let's continue. Here's this poster that they have here. This is really a poster that you walk up to, and it has this information on it. It's a little small. I'll try to read it through you. Aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the United States. Well, now hold on. You would think this would be right in the middle of the Space Lab Science Department over here in the Caucasian at Disney World, right? But no, believe it or not, it's somehow in the black. Now, what is that supposed to do? How are people supposed to think about this? White dominant culture, or whiteness, refers to the way white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have normalized over time and are now considered standard practices in the United States and a large portion of the world, but variations on a theme. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. Are you are you saying that black people no longer act like African primitives and that they've been whited and that they're trying to stand up to a standard? Is Oh, it gets worse. And I'm not doing this. This is in the Smithsonian Institution. They made a wing for black people so they could do their thing, and this is so they show a black man, looks like he's wearing a basketball jersey, but he has a hammer in his hand like John Henry. And it says rugged individualism. Now he's not, but they're not talking about black people. They're talking about white people. Okay, so stay on point here. Let me see if I can get this just right. Sorry if I'd have noticed that. I'd try to have it squared. Rugged individualism. The individual is the primary unit. Self-reliance. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Yeah. Independence and autonomy, highly valued and rewarded. Oh, yeah, definitely, definitely. Individuals assume to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve and blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, that's the, well, yeah, but also in control of their environment. This goes back, well, let's go a little biblical and so on. This is the master of beasts and Sumerians and this thing where people had taken over the world. People look at biblical stories and stuff and they say, well, this doesn't exist and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to get into all that. But let's look at this thing. It said, hey, if the woman that grew from a rib and ate from a magic tree because the talking snake told her to, if they ate from that and did this thing, that they were going to become as gods of the earth, right? This is the story. People don't pay attention to what goes on, but that destiny has been somewhat fulfilled. From dominating plants and animals, creating their own habitats and things, and then in the process of it here during my lifetime, realized resources, natural resources, and all these things, and then we had to be careful about it, and what about pollution and all these things, and developed all kinds of tests and figured out we're all screwing up the world. Not just white people, but we're all screwing up the world. And we could fix that. Of course, that's gotten to be a gimmick thing with the global warming situation, but that's for another video. But yeah, you get what you deserve. Well, you reap what you sow. There's the whole adages about that. Family structure. That's a white thing. The nuclear family, where you have a father and a mother and 2 or 3 children, is the ideal social unit. Not too many children and overtax yourself, and you don't have to, and you try to raise them correctly, and of course having the mother and father really helps a whole lot. I think the latest statistic is 78% of black households are single parent families, and they don't want to have that conversation and how that fits into all of the other things that probably we need to have the discussion of so we can start getting somewhere as opposed to this crap. Husband is a breadwinner and the head of a household. Ding. Wife is a homemaker and subordinate to the husband. Well, no, it's not really that way at all anymore. Due to the way the economy's gotten because of a bunch of bullshit I don't want to go into, basically women have to work quite often. So now they're dropping the kids off and going somewhere too. You are extremely lucky if you can work and keep your wife from not working. Kind of like you see in old Egyptian art and Greek art where the male is drawn as tanned, having to work, but they keep the woman pale. Well, that's kind of gone away a little bit, but hell, whenever I was a kid, they weren't buying sunblock. Everybody was buying tanning lotions and doing things. Oh, it was a hell of a thing for a while. Remember Coppertone Girl and the Dog pull down and show her a tan line on her butt, and she's like, whoop. Okay. Children should have own rooms and be independent. Oh yeah, we teach our kids that too. I sometimes wonder what is taught on the other side of that coin, but let's continue. Emphasis on scientific method. Now those Caucasians with that science, it got us to where we are here. Objective, rational, linear thinking. Now I want to interject here. This is white people do this. They're showing black people that white people do this, that's not what they do. This is how black people have turned this around, even though it's racist against whites, and said that, well, it's racist against blacks because it's saying we don't have rational linear thinking and this, that, and the other. And I go, well, do we need to have that whole conversation? We need to have that whole conversation. Cause and effect relationships. They say I have a little talking point, just a little talking point, but that is huge. That's like with thinking through what's going to happen if you do certain things and all that type of stuff, wants and wishes and psychological things. Quantitative emphasis. Yeah, to try to do something with your life and so on. Yeah, quantitative emphasis. It's what, other people don't have these traits? Well, they're telling you clearly not. In fact, putting it outwardly that they don't. It's not normal for them too, but extremely normal for those Caucasians. History. Oh no. Based on Northern European immigrants' experience in the United States. No. No, I'm sorry. Caucasian history goes all the way back, Greeks and Romans and everything before that. All around the Mediterranean was all Caucasians. Yes, and in North Africa, Egyptians were blue-eyed Caucasians. Look it up. It's the earliest dynasties. Blue-eyed Caucasian. Look up Thuya and Yuya, King Tut's great-grandparents. They were blondes, and you can tell their phenotype. Oh, their skin's dark. Yeah, that happens to beef jerky, too, but... Knock, knock. Heavy focus on the British Empire. Well, somewhat. I mean, America has that rooting there that goes into that, but that was a culmination. So the British Empire is actually a culmination too. So it's kind of the same thing. Big old four corners of the earth kind of situation. Boats, zoom zoom, airplane, spaceship. The primacy of Western are Greek and Roman and Judeo-Christian tradition. Well, yeah, they do pretty well. If they faltered, things like Islam would take over and yin yang yang of the world would go bad and things like that. Isn't it amazing that through these last world wars, the Caucasians don't just wipe the people off the earth and then take over and blah, 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 but yet they turn around and they just put borders back where they used to be. And then they spend billions of dollars trying to help the people back out that were trying to all kill them. Let's continue. Protestant work ethic. Oh no, we're going to talk about work ethics. Hard work is key to success. This is a white thing. Work before play. This is a white thing. If you didn't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. This is a logic thing. And you don't blame somebody else for your shortcomings. Especially not the people trying to prop you up. Knock, knock. Religion. Oh no. I'm glad I don't monetize my site or I'd be demonetized by now for sure, but after this, definitely. Religion. Christianity is the norm. Yeah, it's the norm in Caucasian societies now, and of course it's Judeo-Christian, so it kind of has the whole thing going on, which is a culmination again, but if you look at how much paganism they have in it and everything too, it Shows you it's a culmination of everything. And those are all white people, and the Bible is only about them. You can, in a modern day, be real PC. Let me be clear. It's quite okay nowadays to be real PC and tell you that God loves everybody and everything else. Well, that's fine. You're talking for God. He didn't say that in the book, and I'm sorry to mention that, but look, read it. It is not about Eskimos, Amerindians, white people. It's not about any of those. It was about Caucasians. Again, Noah landed in the Caucasus Mountains. Yeah, but then there's the Lord of the Rada and the things and the Sumerians. It all goes with it. Hell, that's where Abraham was from Ur. Some people don't read it. Anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign. Well, actually, we embrace that. People have gone through crazy things in America, and I've even done a video about it where they talk about we've tried out Buddhism and all kinds of Shinto things and karmatic things. People are willing to just yoga crazy, just anything, and so I would say not so, but they want to say this. There was no tolerance for deviation from single God concept. Um, that's not true. We have quite a few multiple God concept religions that are around and things, and just to be honest with you, the Christianity and things is a triad, but then there's angels and saints and everything else that make up the whole dichotomy that you would have in any other religion, and it's still, oh, well, there's a main guy. Oh, well, Zeus was the main guy. Knock, knock. Status, power, and authority. Men in black. White men in black. Wealth is worth. This is a white thing. Your job is who you are. This is a white thing. You get so enamored in your job, you try to be best as you can at it, and your job is who you are. And even though you're doing some thing, you try to be real damn good at it. And you shouldn't apologize for doing that. That's how we've gotten all this incredible stuff that surrounds us today. White people respect authority. Just let that sink in, that that's a bullet point on this poster. Again, that you walk into Black history and they have this for some reason. Heavy value on ownership of goods, space, and property. Yeah, the Caucasians want to own property and do everything, and stuff, of course. They make it sound like it would be odd. Future orientation. There's plans for the future. This is a white thing. Delayed gratification. Some of these bullet points need a whole long thing to go with them, but this is where they offer somebody 1 cookie now or 3 cookies in a minute. And some people choose 1 cookie now, and then whenever other people are eating 3 cookies later, they get real mad at the other people. Just a little example. Progress is always best. Yes, we don't want to regress and have any of this crap go on. In fact, we're an ever culminating, upward going, bettering people, constantly helping out the world. If there is a Superman, there he is, and he's called upon by the world, and you damn well know it. Tomorrow will be better. Now, this isn't placating things to where, well, I don't want to do it today, tomorrow will be better. This is, we are making tomorrow better. This is a white thing. Time. Time is racist and it's a white thing. Well, whites invented it. Some people have a problem with time. They've even made phrases like black time. Look it up. Follow rigid time schedules. Yeah, we want structured things and make it happen right and da da da. Somebody pays you for 8 hours, they don't want you working for 6.5. Hell, most of these places pay you during lunch. Some don't. They don't have to. Time viewed as a commodity. Yeah, time is money. You hear that, but it's really more of like time. People are going to spend time in their life. They don't want to waste their time on bullshit. That's a white thing, though. Others seem to not embrace these things that I'm listing, by the way. Said straightforward by them. Aesthetics. It's a big word. Based aesthetics, the way things should be and look and do everything else, is all based on European culture, steak and potatoes. Bland is best. Oh, see, so that's made to think vanilla, and why I hate people vanilla. No, Baskin Robbins has 31 damn flavors, and we make all kinds of cheeseburgers and incredible food that people are like, what? Yeah, and so it's not bland in any way, shape, or form, but it is best. But I could be prejudiced because, damn, it's good. Woman's beauty is based on blonde, thin, and Barbie. Well, when I grew up, it was Charlie's Angels and stuff, and there's two brunettes there and one blonde. Oh, Farrah Fawcett. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Blondes have more fun. Marilyn Monroe, da da da. Look at all the black people who are wearing Caucasian mimicking hair hats now. Quite often they're blonde, bleaching themselves and coloring their eyes. Is that a problem? Would you say that is? Would you say if you started adding all these things up, that it's something that should be discussed because, wow. In America, where there's pretty Nordic type women who used to live all around the Mediterranean too, and into Egypt, redheads and blondes there. Oh, it's a standard of beauty. Well, for Caucasians, you're willing to have your own, but because you're put around the situation, you seem to be confused, and then you start embracing only the mulatto types, and then man's attractiveness based on economic status, power, and intellect. Yeah, yeah. You can, have somebody, he's a quarterback, he's this, he's that, and that's fantastic too, and women love that. But also, a man is very attractive if he has economic status. This isn't fair to all the rest of us who don't make over 100K a year or any of these things, but it is what it is. And they like intelligent men. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, secret for you. Men want an intelligent woman. Usually, it helps out for those long-term relationships. That's a white thing, by the way. Holidays like Martin Luther King Day. Oh, wait, no, 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 no. Holidays are based on Christian religions, and they're based on whole white history and male leaders. Well, but what's the. Oh. Well, if you include them, they don't include it. Knock, knock. Justice. Oh, no. This is an equal scales, people. No one's cheating on anything here. The sun is watching you. See that symbol there? Yeah. Justice is based on English common law, which is derived from laws that go way back to Hammurabi's Code and so on, but these laws have been developing to help protect everybody for a long damn time, and the current American ones are a standard. Yep. To protect property and entitlements. Yes, that's definitely a good part of it here, for if you don't have that, what the hell, it can become chaos rather rapidly. Intent counts. Your intent counts. What do you intend to do? What are your intentions? Knock, knock. Oh, here we go. Competition. Some people think that because it's called races, that we're in a race somehow. And then they go, well, I can run real fast. And go, well, what if it was who gets to the moon first? What if it's who could take us to Star Trek? Competition. Be number one. That's a Whyte thing. Win at all costs. Well, no, not necessarily, although people have been caught cheating and everything, but you have this attitude that's like, we're going to put 110% out. That's definite. Winner loser dichotomy. Oh, yeah, you're taught that in playing football when you're a boy and everything, and you just don't want to be a loser in things because when you're a winner, you get so much more happy. Baseball, games, everything, that all feeds that a little bit, but that shows you that you want to have a competitive side, for you don't want to just stand there and not give a damn. Action orientation. Do something. I knit upon the head of the blue-eyed Horus, the god who acts. Master and control nature. Here again, they've got that as a talking point. Well, we like domesticating animals, and we're the master of a dog when we have one. Oh, is that some mental problem we have? No, that's man's best friend. He's the... You don't understand how all this works. A lot of people who don't have that in their past don't understand how this works. Must always do something about a situation. Yes, Superman is quite often called upon. We've been there. Aggressiveness and extroversion. Yeah, right. It's a Whyte thing. Decision making. That's a Whyte thing. Are you paying attention? Majority rules when whites have power. They've got this in front of a black exhibit. Right there. What is this supposed to say? Well, majority rules, and there's black people in the Senate and all kinds of stuff, and they're voting right now, but you can see that, right? Communication, the King's English rules. Yeah, we're trying to have correct speech and everything, but when I was a kid, they all of a sudden dropped that and said that black people could fail at